My mic was on mute then. Tensions in the Middle East are escalating. Trump says he knows exactly where the Iranian supreme leader is, and Bitcoin plummets based on these escalations. We're getting numerous reports every single minute here about escalations with this conflict, and consequently, markets are taking a hit. Bitcoin is taking a hit, and specifically altcoins are taking a very heavy hit based off this news. So we're going to go over the very best altcoins to be buying in this cheap opportunity. During this opportunity, I'm going to tell you the altcoins I'm personally stacking. I'll tell you why I'm stacking them, and then I'll get into all of the comments as usual. So get your questions in, smash the likes on the stream. What are you guys buying today? I'm going to go over 5 projects which I would be stacking today, or I'm planning on stacking. One of them is a VIP gem, which I'm not going to mention, but I'll be going over all of that. But as we are doing this stream today, we will be, checking in every now and then just to see the news, just to see if anything has updated, because this war is escalating whether you like it or not. And I don't think many people do like it, because it's war at the end of the day. It doesn't benefit anyone other than people who have money in these war companies and, arms companies. They're the only people who really benefit. The vast majority of people do not benefit at all. So, it's just in here. Israel officials say Netanyahu believes the US will likely enter the war within days. So this looks like it's going to be heating up. It's going to be escalating. Trump also essentially just threatened the supreme leader of Iran, rather, saying that he basically knows exactly where he is and he's not going to kill him yet. That's basically what he said, right? So it was like a backhanded compliment, you could say. He's telling him he wasn't going to kill him, but there was a bit of a yet part to that, right? So markets are obviously dumping based on all of this, and this is why you've always got to be in tune with the geopolitical events and the macro events. And we absolutely are in the VIP group. We were in a voice chat earlier for a few hours talking about this, and I know the members are all paying attention to what's going on. But I'm going to share with you in just a moment my top coins I would be buying on this dip in terms of preference. And here we are. Let's see. Buy the dip. These are the coins I would be focusing on. And you can see the order. You can see the order of preference here on the screen. I've been stacking Say on these dips. Say is the one I'm really prioritizing right now. Aerodrome isn't on this list for me. The reason Aerodrome is not on the list is I've already stacked a great bag and it's already left the station, as you would know, based on my last Aerodrome video. Make sure to watch that if you haven't already. So I'm going to put Aero if you missed it. Okay. I didn't miss it. Obviously, I was stacking it as low as the 39-cent region, and Aero went on to pump crazy. It's still above 70 cents, so it's still really strong. But yeah, Arrow, I would say if you missed it, and that is obviously a DEX, and I think Arrow can do anything kind of between a 4 to a 10x. So that's my list. And in terms of preference, obviously Say would be number 1. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars next to Say. Sorry about that. If you heard a loud noise there, I just knocked my mic. And then Ondo is going to have 4 stars next to it. The VIP gem, I'm going to give it 4 stars as well in terms of my preference. Sui, it's kind of a 2 out of 10 as a buy. Casper and Tau, also probably a 2 out of 10 as a buy. So the more stars, the more I would basically prioritize buying that coin. So Say is like a 5 out of 5 buy right now. I'm liking the look at Say. I told you guys when Arrow was super cheap that I like the look of Arrow. And now I'm telling you about Say. Okay, I just dropped a buy alert. It's not often I tell you my buy alerts here, but I just dropped a buy alert on Say at 15 cents. It's already starting to see a little bit of a bounce here based on this 786 fib retracement level. So I stacked a bit on this dip, and I'm hoping that that will act as support and we can move up swiftly in the coming weeks. So Say is a really good buy right now at 16 or 15 cents. Another one which is a great buy is obviously Ondo. I haven't talked about Ondo that much recently, but Ondo has been a good buy as well. You're buying Ondo below actually the 786 here. And what happens quite often with these types of dumps, right, is you have this heavy dump, but then what happens is you manage to gain a bit of momentum at the weekly close, and then you end up closing above the fib level, therefore basically avoiding further corrections. So Ondo is one here that I'm liking the look of. I've got to be honest. I haven't dropped the buy alert for this one yet, but if I do, you know who's going to get it, right? And then you got Morpho as well, man. You've got a bunch of projects, man. You've got a bunch of projects right now which are absolute exceptional buys. Even Beam. Even Beam. I was taking a look at Beam, and I don't actually hold Beam, but it's literally right now on support. Let me pull up the Beam chart here. Literally on support. I mean, guys, there's a ton of buys in the market. There's a ton of coins I don't even hold, which I would say are buys. Beam right now, absolute excellent buy here. Buying it on support. This green box for me shows a great buy on Beam. Anywhere in that green box is, like I said, a great buy. What else have we got? Another one I like the look of, Walrus. Another project I don't hold, but I like it as a buy here. Kind of below 45 cents for me is a good buy on Walrus, and we're at that point now. This thing went as high as $1 when it launched, basically. So it's a 2x or more just to all-time highs. I like projects that are 2x's or more to all-time highs. How many X's do you think H-bar can do from here? Good question, man. Let's take a look at the H-bar chart. Did it come down to the next fib level? Did it come down to the next fib level? No, it's kind of in no man's land right now, H-bar. It looks to me like it might want to come back down to touch 11 to 12 cents H-bar. I mean, let's put on some like local fibs here, I guess. See where it would be based on the local fibs. Oh, right. Actually, this is why, guys, you've got to put fibs on both the bigger time frames, the macro time frames, and the smaller time frames. Because you can, what could be no man's land on a macro time frame could actually be on a micro time frame support. Could be really strong support on a micro time frame, but on a macro time frame, it looks like no man's land. So this is why you've always got to put the fibs on both. Obviously, the big picture time frames, which would be like this. Okay, and then the smaller picture time frames, which would be like this. Okay, and we do a lot of charting in the VIP group if you're not familiar with it, but it's very important you have specific fib levels and stuff like that. But, you know, looking at my fibs here, man, H-bar is actually, I guess, on support, you could say, based on the fibs, 786. And a lot of coins right now, they're pulling back to their 786 levels. So that would be a decent buy here if you like the project H-bar. I mean, you don't even need to like the project, right? I don't really like the project because it's pretty centralized, but I think it's a good buy. So it doesn't really matter if you like the project or not. I don't like Solana. I don't really like Sui as a philosophical point of view, right? Because they're centralized. But I'm an investor. I like making money. That's what I'm in crypto for, is to make money. And it doesn't matter if I like a project, doesn't matter if I think it's centralized or whatever. If there's an opportunity to make money, I'm gonna gonna get into it. Is it wise to buy on a falling knife? Yeah, this saying, don't catch a falling knife, it has some truth in it, but quite often when you catch a falling knife, you actually catch near to the bottom. I'll show you a perfect example here of catching a falling knife. You know when Bitcoin crashed down to 48K, 49K, you can see it on the screen. I bet loads of traders are saying, don't catch a falling knife, right? Don't catch a falling knife. Well, look at it, right? If you bought anywhere during this wick, you're up loads now. So I kind of take a different approach. If I see a massive wick down, huge amount of FUD, I actually buy quite often. If the future prospects look good, I actually buy on a massive wick down like that. Another wick which I was buying very, very heavily in this market was the FTX wick. Everyone remembers it, right? The FTX wick. I bought the crap out of that once it hit 16K, 15K. I was buying really, really, really heavily into Bitcoin and altcoins. And that's a large reason why I've been very successful this bull run, is because I deployed the vast majority of my capital down there. You know, now I'm deploying, yeah, here and there, a little bit here, a little bit there. But I deployed the vast majority of my resources way back then, right? And that's why the real money in crypto is made by buying at the cyclical bottoms and selling at the cyclical tops, not the short-term bottoms, but the cyclical bottoms. Hello, Archie. You're a solid investor. Wow, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the support. Yeah, Don, we're not going to get into politics on the stream, man. But when I'm saying the war doesn't benefit anyone, I mean that on a moral level, people getting bombed left, right, and center, that doesn't benefit people, right? And I'm specifically talking about markets, really. That wars in the short term, they don't benefit markets. I mean, look at what's happened, right? You can't argue that wars benefit markets when we literally see it in front of our freaking face. It's red. The charts are red. How's that a benefit? Right? It might benefit the gold market. It might benefit the oil market, but it doesn't benefit the altcoin market. That is a fact. That is a stone cold fact, whether you like it or not. I'm not here to debate politics. That's not the stream. There's plenty of other people where you can go and do that. But in general, these types of events, they do not benefit markets and they don't benefit the general population. I mean, is this really benefiting America, having a back to, tit for tat type of war? It's not benefiting Americans, right? So it needs to stop. Bro, I just bought some Pepe. Let's take a look at Pepe, see if it's a good buy right now. I'm actually pretty bullish on Brett as a buy. I think the whole base ecosystem is going to absolutely explode at some point. I mean, it already has been if you've been holding Aerodrome. But if we look at Pepe, how's Pepe looking here? Oh, almost in a golden pocket on Pepe. Might just drop a little bit more. But if I was looking at getting a position on Pepe, I'd have my limit buy order set for 9.5. Just, you know what I like to do? I like to put it just a little bit above the fib, because sometimes you don't exactly touch the fib, right? Because a lot of people look at the fib, so they set their orders a little bit higher. They start buying in anticipation of the golden pocket. So I would set my order on Pepe if I was interested in it just a little bit higher than where we are currently. That's where I would buy it. When are we entering a leverage trade on oil? Good question, man. Wait, I've got the right oil chart down here. Okay, so if I was to enter a trade on oil, it would be at the break of this trend line. there's a very clear kind of macro trend line here on the weekly on oil. And every single time it hits, it more or less gets rejected, right? You can see it hit there. And a lot of these are kind of geopolitical spikes that cause it. I mean, that wasn't actually a hit, but it was almost a hit. There's another one. And then where did we find our resistance on this recent spike? Literally at the line. What would trigger oil to break out? I would probably say would be if Iran blockaded the Strait of Hormuz, or however you say it, Hormuz. I'm not a freaking geopolitical correspondent, so I don't know all these names off the top of my head. But I have a pretty decent understanding of geopolitics. Hormuz, right? That's how you say it. So, if you guys don't know already, there is essentially the Persian Gulf, right? This is where I live here, the UAE. So, you've got all these oil-rich countries around the world, around the Persian Gulf. Okay, you got Iran, which, despite people thinking is a poor country, they are the third largest oil. Out of all the countries of oil, they have the third most oil, right? I think Venezuela is first, and then second is Saudi, and then third is Iran. So they have a ton of oil, and a lot of it gets sold on the black market. Obviously, they're sanctioned by the Western powers, but still they do dealings with other countries that maybe are also sanctioned, right? And stuff like that. So they still obviously sell a lot of oil. You've got Saudi, oil giant, UAE made all their money from oil, and Oman as well, right? You've got and Iraq. You've got all these different countries here. Now, a ton of the world's oil, I don't know the percentage, but a ton of oil from the world comes through this kind of sea. Okay, through this sea into the Arabian Sea and then to wherever it's going around the world. This strait, Iran could, in theory, blockade if they wanted to escalate this further. That would be the $100 oil situation, right? That would be the $100 oil scenario. So it's certainly very interesting, man, seeing all of this play out on a geopolitical level, because it all ties into crypto. I know some of you guys will be listening now. You're like, this is a crypto stream. Why are you talking about this? It all ties into crypto, guys, because it's all about markets being risk on and all that stuff, and liquidity and macro certainty. And talking about macro certainty, we have massive stuff happening tomorrow, or one massive thing, which is the FOMC. Let me pull this up. So we have the FOMC statement, Fed funds rate decision. Obviously, everyone's expecting that it just stays the same at 4.5%, which is 99% chance. But it's more important what Jerome Powell actually says. So Jerome Powell comes out and he says that inflation's well anchored. They've got more clarity now. That's great. If he comes out and says there's more and more uncertainty, that's not good. So really what I'm going to be listening for tomorrow is how much of an emphasis Jerome Powell puts on in terms of economic uncertainty, and whether he talks a lot about geopolitical uncertainty potentially hindering the economy. It's going to be very interesting, okay? I recommend everyone tunes into these FOMC meetings and watches it in full, because it gives you a very good picture of the market and what's going to be happening next. And we're going to be doing a kind of watch party, whatever you want to call it, in my VIP group. We do this every single month, or not every month, because there's not always a FOMC every month, but whenever there's an FOMC month, we do it in a big meeting. There's a ton of people watching, sometimes 200, 300, 400 people in the call. And we all listen to Jerome Powell, and then we give our remarks afterwards. I give kind of my thoughts and opinions on it. And we have a really, really interesting conversation about the markets based off the call or based off the speech from Jerome Powell, right? And the decision. So I strongly recommend obviously getting yourself in the VIP group for that. I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. It's going to be very telling. And I believe tomorrow's FOMC meeting is going to be what determines the fate of the market for the next move. We're definitely compressing here on the Bitcoin chart. Okay, if we look at the daily, compression here is going on. I've kind of drew this this little chart here. You can see the compression going on. We're arguably at support right now. So this is what I'm seeing in the markets. I'm seeing compression, and I'm seeing a really good opportunity to buy here, especially if the FOMC is bullish tomorrow. That would really drive us out of this compression period and lead to the next leg up. Hey Archie, thanks for the streams. Do you think more folk could get integrated with Coinbase like Arrow? Could it be a good play now? I think it's already integrated with Coinbase. It already is for the borrowing and lending. VIP here. How's it going, man? Congrats on being a VIP. Could you check Research Coin, decentralized science project backed by Base co-founder Brian Armstrong? Really? It's backed by him? Let's see. Research Coin. I've heard of this one. It's been out for a while though. 40 mil market cap. Yeah, pretty appalling listings, bro. For a coin that's been out for what, 3 years? These listings are very, 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 very disappointing. So whoever's behind this needs to pull their finger out and get their act together, man, because this is just a joke. You know, with all due respect, like these listings, like they haven't even got MEXC. How am I going to take a project seriously that's been around for 3 years if it hasn't even got MEXC? I can't take it seriously. I'm sorry, I just can't. So I wouldn't buy this just based off the listings. Like, sure, if this was only out for a month and it had these listings, then fine, it's a bit more understandable. But when you've been out for 3 years, you do expect a bit of a better job when it comes to exchange listings. Did I see the quick spike on Say? Yeah, I actually dropped a buy alert for Say at 1.5 in the VIP, right at the very bottom of this wick. It's already up like 4% based off the buy alert. I know it's not a lot, but already up 4% on that buy on Say. So I do really recommend you obviously sign up. You get those buy alerts and sell alerts in real time. You can be notified when I'm stacking, and see what everyone has to say. Just bought Stay and going to drink. But yeah, let's just check if there's been any developments in terms of the war. Let's see. Okay, so it says here, Pentagon is moving more fighter jets to the Middle East and is extending deployment of air assets already in the Middle East. Fox News. Okay. Yeah, because Trump's been having some like emergency meetings and stuff lately. Iran will soon launch punitive operation against Israel. Iran's senior army commander calls on Israelis to evacuate Haifa and Tel Aviv immediately. Wow. I mean, this one's big, right? Netanyahu believes the US will likely enter the war within days. There you go, Americans. You got another war. How many wars now in the Middle East is this? It's crazy. How many wars has the US been dragged into the Middle East? And all of these haven't affected markets, by the way. So I want to make that point clear. I'm just interested how many times this has happened now. But yeah, all of these haven't really affected markets. I think there's a chart out there actually. Chart of every major war or tension and the S&P 500. Let's see this because I'm sure there's a chart out there that shows like every event and how it barely. No, not World War II. I don't want to see that. Man, there's a chart out there. And it shows like every single freaking attack or war or whatever. Every geopolitical tension in the S&P 500. Is this it? Okay. Yeah, so you can see here, right? The Gulf War, yes, that did actually kind of cause a dip, but it didn't necessarily last a while. Look at the Iraq War. Markets just went up. So from the Iraq War onwards, markets just kept on going up. Arab Spring, markets just kept going up. Honestly, man, there's not a great deal of evidence to suggest that wars long-term affect markets. They do short-term. They absolutely do short-term. It's in front of our eyes. We can't deny that, right? They have a short-term impact for markets, but after a few weeks, months, whatever, markets move on. So I like that chart. This is a very good chart. I'm just going to go and share this actually over in the VIP group. Geopolitical. Man, why have I spelled that like that? Geopolitical events rarely impact markets long term. Okay, there we go. So yeah, look at all these different wars the US have been dragged into in the Middle East. There's been so many. So many since World War II. Gulf War, Iraq War, Yemen War, and then we got this one. It looks like they're potentially going to be dragged into. So we've had all those different things in the past. They haven't really affected markets. I don't see why this one would necessarily be too much different. Yeah, but it's just a shame, man, that this stuff's going on. UAE foreign minister warns of uncalculated, reckless steps that could violate Iranian and Israeli borders. Okay, so this stuff's all heating up, guys. All heating up in the Middle East. Thoughts on memes right now? I'd avoid high-risk memes. I'd probably only stack established ones. Brett, Fartcoin, SPX 6900, Pepe, those types of coins. Don't get me wrong, I have a couple DGen memes out there, but they're like peanuts, man. Like less than 0.1% of my portfolio. Yeah, Say is highly volatile. A lot of people consider Say a safety net, but I don't actually really consider it a safety net. Like if you look at this chart here, I had Say down as a mid cap, not a blue chip. Say is too volatile, man, to be like your biggest bag. That's why you have something like Sui. I love Say, but I wouldn't have it as my biggest bag. It's way too volatile. I mean, look at Ondo. This thing's down 11% today. Great buy. Great buy. It's well backed. It's already done well this cycle. Thoughts on Casper right now? I'm very disappointed with their marketing and lack of exchange listings, but the tech still speaks for itself. But I am very, very disappointed in Casper. I've got to be honest. It's a shame. It's a shame they haven't put their hand in their pockets and got some listings. I mean, how much did they spend on that book that Shy Dash wrote? Was it 70 grand they spent on a book that didn't even come out, apparently? So if they can spend 70 grand on a book that doesn't come out, why can't they spend money on more listings? Like, at least get freaking crypto.com. This is becoming a joke now. If you can spend money on a book, you can spend money on an... If you can spend 70K, just throw away 70K like that on a book, right? No one's even going to read a book. But if you could do that, why can't you get listings? Why can't you get listings? I'm pretty disappointed in the leadership coming from Casper in terms of their marketing side of things. But again, I'm not criticizing the tech. I'm not doing that. What they've done to scale proof of work in the manner they have, it's crazy. But this project's not going to go to the levels people want it to go to unless the people behind it start freaking marketing the thing. How's the whole world going to find out about Casper, right? It's not going to happen overnight. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's also not going to happen if you don't share it with people. Right? There's a balance. You need to have some form of a good marketing campaign, have good listings so that people can buy it, on all these different exchanges. So people can buy it on Coinbase, on Binance, on Revolut. That's the bare minimum. Wait, what's Say doing? Is it having weird price action here? Well, what the hell is that? Guys, look at Say on the 30-minute chart. What is that? Someone came in with volume here. 5% purchase, basically. That's a crazy buy. And if you want a meme coin on Say, I would personally go for Sayan. I think that is by far the best meme coin on Say. So this would be the meme pick for me. It's a nice buy right now, actually. It's in a nice little dip. So this would be a solid meme pick, but it did kind of have a little double top there. But yeah, this is just a degen play. But man, this chart's really interesting. Shows all these different events. And how the S&P 500 just basically just keeps going. And then you got the Fed funds rate actually there as well. So that's interesting. This really proves my point that I was telling you guys. When the Fed funds rate goes really high, and then they start lowering it, that is a bad sign. That is a sign that bad things are about to happen. That is a sign that bad things are about to happen when they start lowering the Fed funds rate. Especially when they start doing back-to-back cuts. You know that something's around the corner. Some massive crash is brewing. But yeah, man, these would be the coins I would be buying on this dip. I've told you very clearly. Say, Ondo, VIP Gem, Sui, Cass, and Arrow. I'm actually going to put VIP Gems because there's two. So if you're a VIP, I'm just going to type in the VIP chat right now the gems. So let me just type that right now in the VIP chat. So the two VIP gems are all right. So yeah, man, you guys definitely should sign up to the group. We got DGen chats here. We got obviously the VIP chat, which I'm not going to click on because I just shared the gems. Even a chat for the stock market, you know? I mean, it's not the most active chat because people care about crypto way more, but we do talk about other things other than just crypto. So, yeah, man, highly recommend you get in the group. It's linked in the description. And yeah, once the market starts pumping again, I'm going to be hiking the prices for all the membership options. So make sure you get in now while it's on a discount. Yeah, smart money definitely buying the fear. Like, look at this Bitcoin chart that I showed you. Look at this Bitcoin chart. Let me show you this on the daily. Look at that. If you're not buying here, then I haven't got anything to say. I mean, this is the buy here. All right, guys, going to wrap up the stream here. Do appreciate you all watching, despite the market being a little bit boring and unpleasant. But remember, have conviction in your plays. Know what you're investing in. Don't be buying coins you don't understand. And, you know, hold strong, man. Hold strong, because this is a great opportunity to be buying if you have got the dry powder. And I think we're going to look back in a few weeks. This whole situation is going to blow over and markets are going to pump. But until then, we're going to keep a keen eye on what's going on. A keen eye? Does that make sense? Close eye. We're going to be keeping a close eye on what's going on. You know, continuous intense explosions heard west of Iran's Tehran, Iranian state media reporting. So I'm going to keep a keen eye on what's going on. And yeah, if anything develops, I'll be letting you guys know in the VIP group. And expect some buy alerts from myself in the coming days. Kind of just want to do that last effort now to fill up my bags. Last little effort. Could we break down here? Yes, it's possible, right? Got to say it, it's possible we break down. If we did break down, I'd be targeting 100K. Worst case scenario, I would say, would be like 91 to 93, but I don't think that's going to happen, but it could, right? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you over in the VIP or the next live stream. Goodbye.